Hey everybody, my name is Mark and I'm the newest team member here at PCClassesOnline.com. Before we jump into today's class, I'm going to take just a second to tell you a little bit more about myself. So I've been a teacher in a variety of capacities pretty much my entire life. And a couple of years ago, I started my own web and graphic design business. Not long after I started, I met a guy named David Cox when he was starting PC Classes Online. We hit it off right away and we started working on different projects together. And as we worked together, we learned that we had one major thing in common, and that was our mutual love for teaching. So this year, when he asked me to join his team officially, not only as a web and as a graphic designer, but also as a teacher, I knew it was going to be a great fit and I was going to have a lot of fun. So over the next couple of months, I'm going to be teaching on a variety of different topics, but I'm going to focus mainly on web design and specifically on WordPress. So if you are going to be building a website for yourself or for your business, chances are one of the first things you're going to need to do is to choose a theme. Now today I'm going to give you 4 tips that I think will help you make a great decision when you choose a theme. And if you follow these tips, I think you'll be able to choose a theme that's really going to serve you well for a long time and one that's going to make your money and your time well spent. So let's jump into today's class, choosing a WordPress theme, coming up next on PCClassesOnline.com. Alright, if you're watching this video, chances are you're trying to build possibly your first WordPress website, and that's awesome. In fact, you've probably already started looking at some themes that you want to build your website with, but I'm going to ask you to hold on for just a second because today's class is going to give you 4 tips that I think you should keep in mind when you look for a WordPress theme. And if you keep these in mind, I think you're going to make a lot better choice in the end. Now, as I was preparing for today's class, I thought of an analogy that I think might help you get your arms around why this is important. The analogy is the supermarket. Now, we all go to the supermarket on a regular basis, or at least somebody in our family goes to the supermarket on a regular basis because that's how all the food gets in the cupboard, right? So when we go to the supermarket, we really should go with a list because if we don't go with a list, chances are pretty high we're going to come home with a cartload of things we did not need, and we're going to forget things that were really important, especially us guys. Because I know when I go to the supermarket, it's almost 100% guaranteed that I'm going to come home with things like Oreos and potato chips and soda and all kinds of things that I really don't need. And I frequently forget the important things, especially when I'm shopping when I'm hungry, right? Well, today, I would like you to consider this list kind of your grocery list for choosing a WordPress theme. Because if you use this list, you're going to know what to look for. And even if you get distracted by some neat little theme that gets your attention, chances are much better you're going to buy the theme that you really need instead of the one that's getting your attention at the moment. Just like the Oreos get my attention when I'm at the supermarket. So let's jump into my list. 4 tips to help you choose a WordPress theme. Number 1, before you start looking at themes, I want you to make a list. Now, what I mean by that is this. I want you to make a list of what you would like visitors to do when they come to your website. What do you want them to do? Do you want them to fill out a form? Do you want them to read a blog post? Do you want them to look at your gallery of work? Do you want them to read an article that you wrote? What exactly would you like them to do when they come to your website? Action items is what we're looking for here. Now, as you make this list of action items, try to be as specific as you possibly can. Because the more specific you are, the more focused your website design is going to be, and ultimately, it's going to be a lot more effective when it's focused and when you know what you want people to do when they get there. So start writing these things down. And try to keep your list pretty short. 1 to 3 things is good. 4 is okay. More than 4 is probably too many action items, and your website will probably feel a little disjointed and lack focus. So number 1, the first thing I want you to do before you look at a theme is to make a list of what you want people to do when they come to your website. So number 2, the second tip that I want to give you for choosing a WordPress theme is to pay attention to sales, satisfaction, and support. So pretty much anywhere that you buy a WordPress theme is going to have these things available for you to read: sales, satisfaction, and support. You'll be able to see how many times this particular theme has been sold. So if a theme has only been sold a couple times, or if the number's really low, my recommendation would be to wait. It might be a fantastic theme, but I think it's wise to wait until some other people have purchased it and it gets a chance to be used and maybe work some of the kinks out. You can also see what version it's on, how many times it's been updated. It's called a change log. So you can look for the change log and see what version they're on, because if they're on 1.0, you might want to consider waiting, especially if the sales are low. So my second tip is to look for sales, satisfaction, and support. The satisfaction piece is this: wherever you go to buy this theme, you should be able to see people's comments. For example, you might see questions that people are asking, and you can see how the author has been dealing with those questions. How well have they taken care of people? How satisfied are they? What kind of rating did they give the theme? Because usually you'll see 1 to 5 star ratings. And I would like to see it as close to 5 stars as possible, and a lot of different ratings as well. And the support piece is kind of what I already started with there. How well does the designer interact with the people who buy their theme? How friendly are they? How eager are they to answer questions? In fact, a lot of the best themes out there have a special website you can go to get support from the theme writers. In fact, some of them even have a forum where you can discuss issues and challenges that you have with the theme with other people who are also using the theme. So I think that is really important to be able to find, if at all possible. So my number 2 tip is pay attention to sales, satisfaction, and support. Now, my number 3 tip for choosing a WordPress theme is don't get distracted by shiny things. Look at the structure. Now, what I mean by that is this. It's really easy to go out there and look at demos of a theme, and a lot of times the demos are showing you every single thing that the theme can do. It's showing you pictures sliding in and having cool transitions, and it's got all these little widgets that do neat little things, and that's great. But don't get so distracted by shiny things that you don't notice how well it's actually created and how good the structure of the theme actually is. Because here's the thing, your content for your website is not going to be the same as the content in that demo. So what I want you to do is I want you to look at these demos, or maybe if you look at a live site that's actually been built using this theme, I want you to try to look at it with your content in it. What would you put in those places? Do you have the content that would make this theme come alive? So don't get distracted by what someone else has there. Also, look at the structure and try to determine if this theme is flexible enough to look the way that you want it to look. Most good demos are going to show you the different types of page layouts, for example, that are available. Make sure that it's as flexible as possible, because a lot of times I've seen people buy the demo or the theme that distracted them, but when they got into it, they realized it wasn't very flexible at all, and they kind of regretted their purchase. So number 3, don't get distracted by shiny things. Try to look at the structure of the theme. And number 4, look outside your industry or your topic. Here's the problem that I see over and over and over. I'll have a client that is a dentist, or a client that is that sells insurance, or maybe they have a dance studio or whatever. And so they tend to look for themes that are specifically built only for their industry. And that's okay, because sometimes you can hit a home run that way, but more often than not, the best themes that are available are usable by any industry. And a lot of times when you focus on one specific industry, you tend to not get the best choices available to you. So my number 4 tip is to look outside your topic and outside your industry and try to see the broadest possible opportunities that you have to buy a WordPress theme. So that's my top 4 tips. Let's go over them real quick again. Number 1, before you start looking for themes, make a list of what you want people to do with your website. Number 2, pay attention to sales, satisfaction, and support. Number 3, don't get distracted by shiny things. Look at the structure. And number 4, look outside your industry or your topic. So now that you have your grocery list ready, you can start looking for some themes. And then the next couple of weeks, I'm going to make some tutorials or actually some reviews of my favorite themes. I'm going to go a little deeper into each theme to tell you what I like about them and what I don't like about them. So if you have not built a website yet, keep an eye on this channel because I'm going to show you the themes that I think would work best for most of you. So thanks for coming to today's class. Before you leave, would you do something for us? Would you like our video because that helps get the word out for more people? And would you consider sharing this video on Facebook or Twitter? We really appreciate you guys for supporting our channel, and we look forward to seeing you in the next couple of weeks. Thanks for coming. Class dismissed.